Hello everyone, my name is Alicia Jackson, licensed professional counselor. Today we are going to review the movie Turning Red. And the aspect that we're going to review specifically in this video is the stage of development that the main character, Maylin, is in as she is having a true internal struggle on how to manage herself while her mind, her body, her emotions are changing. We know this is puberty, right? But there are some great things that we can kind of take a look at to see this huge tug of war that's happening within her. But first, before we get started, please like the video, join the conversation, subscribe to the channel. This is an ongoing, interesting conversation about puberty and how it changes and it even can shape our development as we transition into adulthood. So we're going to take a look at Erik Erikson, and he has a theory about developmental stages and how there is a conflict. There's a conflict and crisis that happens at each individual stage. The stage that Maylin is in is identity versus role confusion. And this fifth stage happens from 12 to 18 years old. And during this stage, adolescents are searching to find their sense of self, their personal identity. They have grown and made an attachment to their parents. They have started to find their sense of self and their ability to do things, walk, talk, and communicate, and to be able to flourish somewhat in their educational or academic abilities and even in their social relationships. So during this stage, they are trying to see for themselves, okay, all the information I've taken in thus far, what am I going to hold on for myself? And what are some things that, hey, I may want to change or adjust and develop some of my own choices and some of my own identities. Through this stage, there's like an intense exploration of personal values, beliefs, and goals. And so that transition from childhood to adulthood is so important to shape truly the outlook and the view that the child has on their life, to be more dependent, to trust themselves, to be able to look at their future in terms of career, relationship, families, all of that. And we see this happening with Maylin and her family as she is caught off guard by this. I didn't know this happened to everyone. I didn't know that this was a huge thing, especially in the representation of the red panda. And I'm going to go a little bit more in depth in another video about the red panda from the IFS lens, the internal family systems lens. But just for this video, I want to stick with Erik Erikson's theory and why this is truly a major stage of development for a child to learn their roles and how they're going to occupy them as an adult and have a sense of identity. And we see this with Maylin as she is truly battling herself. We start the movie where she is saying, hey, I make my own choices, I'm my own person, I have my own opinions, but I also want to make sure that my parents are proud by everything I do, and I have to pressure myself to do all the things that they want me to do to make them proud and make my ancestors proud and honor them. So it's like this tug of war that she's having, and she's finding her way and making peace between the two, where her decision is to embrace the red panda as a blessing, as her former ancestors did. Her aunts, her grandmother, and her mother chose to do something different. They chose to lock away the red panda, to close it up, and to control it instead of embrace it and be able to manage it herself. She's learning that there's a way that she can do this and be able to be herself and honor her ancestors at the same time. During this stage, Erikson believes that it may be uncomfortable because there's changes happening within your body, and the cartoon shows this very clearly with the panda as she is going back and forth, but she's embracing how her body is changing. She's taking her ownership of it. And you see that at the end of the movie where she says, like, my panda, my choice, to her mother. And she has just her ears and her tail, and it's showing how she's embracing her body and taking ownership of it instead of feeling like it's something that needs to be closed away or locked away or managed or seen as not good or inappropriate, or a beast that cannot be tamed. During this period, adolescents explore the possibilities and begin to form their own identity. Failure to do so will cause this lack of confidence, this uncertainty of not knowing how they're going to show up in life, not knowing where they fit, not knowing their identity, not knowing if they have to do things how the rest of the family has done it. That's just because that's how they've done it and that's the only way to do it, and feeling maybe some internal struggle because they're not honoring their voice, or really feeling like this lack of confidence of not knowing if they're going to fully be able to step out and do something that they want to do for themselves because they have had to quelch that and just honor their parent. We see this really actually with Ming, Maylin's mother, as anytime she interacts with her mother, you see she shrinks. She shrinks down. She coils up very much like a child or adolescent, and she loses her voice. She loses her voice with her mother, and that truly impacts their relationship. So oftentimes where there is an identity crisis at this stage, adolescents will express or experiment in different lifestyles, whether it be work, education, or political views. And it will also lead to some rebellion and establishing like a negative identity or a negative sense of self and unhappiness. Which is really what I see with Ming, Maylin's mother. And my hope is that Mayling's voice and her being able to allow her daughter to choose what she wants for herself and honor her voice, that will help her to hopefully honor her voice as well. Let me know what you think about this theory and this interesting tug of war between Ming and Maylin, and this identity versus role confusion, and this kind of rebellion that's happening, and this push and pull, and the brave decision that Maylin chooses to take on this red panda and be able to embrace it as something that's beautiful and something that's a blessing, and honor her ancestry and herself at the same time. As always, be cool, be calm, be centered, peace, and don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Take care.